Hello and welcome back to the channel. We've got an audience this time, we've got a cat. So yeah, that's her done, MOT'd. I've got a few more jobs I'm going to do, I'll put it on the channel. So she's on the road, I gave it a good run last night. Had to do a shed clearance. I'll put some photos on if I can work out how to. I'm not quite sure that I can. But believe me, this car can put so much more luggage in than this. These are great, but you can't cut through from the carb. And this is fantastic. Honestly, I got like a van load of stuff away last night. And thank you very much for everybody who's commented on this car. I've got people from Czech Republic, where else was that? The south parts of the UK. I had somebody from America the other day. Spain, everywhere. Somebody from Spain recognised these. I would like to put a special shout out to the guy. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but he offered me. He said that obviously I've noticed as well. I don't know if you recognise, but it's either the back end's high or the front end's low. I think it's a bit of both. There's no fueling or nothing, so I think the back end's slightly high and the front end's slightly low. I think the front springs are getting a bit tired. So he sent us 2 new shockers, 2 new springs and 2 new strut top bearings for free of charge, just for the price of the postage. So I would just like to say thank you very much. I apologise, I should have researched before I did the video. I forgot your name, but I just thought I would say thank you very much. It's really nice the fact people are watching this and helping. I'm only new to all this game, so you know I really appreciate that. Something else that seems to be difficult to get a hold of are these are new tyres, because obviously these haven't got a centre cap. They're a nightmare to balance. But what size are these tyres? 205, 50, 60, 15s. Supposed to be a nightmare to get a hold of. I struggled to get hold of this tyre. So yeah. Anyways, a few things that I've done since the last video. Don't be a critic, please. I ground this down, and I put cure rust on it, and I had a temporary paint pen. It's not a perfect match, but I am going to go next week and do it properly. It's just they're still spreading salt on the roads at the minute, so I just wanted to make sure that this was covered properly. So, you know, obviously I'm going to match it in better when the time comes. Something else I wanted to say as well, French car. It's one of the only French cars that I know with a bonnet pull on the right hand side. So I just wanted to show something under the bonnet. See again, gas struts. You don't even get that on a 20 grand car, to be quite honest. It's disgusting. So anyways, before I start the engine up, this hidden pipe that was down here, I found out where it was meant to go to. It was actually missing off the bottom of the swirl flaps. So I put it back on, and I expected all sorts of problems. But bearing in mind, at the very beginning when I got this car, there was a split pipe down here. So I think what the problem had been was this split pipe. Somebody couldn't be bothered to repair it, and they've just stuck a screw in. So now, which I'll do a demonstration of, it does actually work. Of course, you know, there's never been a single car down the street, and the minute that I start recording, it's like the A1. So we'll start the car up. Steering lock was on, sorry. So now this car's running sweet as a nut. So now if you watch that when I rev the car up, keep moving. That little alarm. That car's just been I know I shouldn't be revving it like that, but it wasn't being revved hard. So I'll just knock it off. So anyways, I only drove this car back about 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't very powerful at all, to be quite honest. It was about as powerful as me HDI 90. So anyways, I fixed this pipe. If you've watched the videos, I've done loads of other stuff. Connected this pipe back up. Now the swirl flaps are moving, and I assume the air doors are piped. The air doors are system's working again. And you know, I've done other things like cleaning this. I've deactivated the EGR, as you can see down here. The pipe's blanked off. You can't see down there, but it's disconnected. And I'm not joking you, this car now, what a different car. The power, everything about it. No smoke, loads of power. So I'm just going to pause for 1 minute. I'm going to grab something. I'll be back in a moment. So yeah, I just wanted to explain roughly in the most simplest way possible how a DPF works. It's the same as a cat. You've seen my previous video what it is under the car. It traps soot basically. And then what it's got to do to get that soot to turn to ash is to get it to a very high temperature. So that's the point of the additive. The additive lowers the temperature that it needs to get to produce it. So say it needs 400 degrees centigrade to make it reduce. What it does is, if you put the additive in, instead of it being, say, I don't know, 600 degrees, it'll reduce that to 400 degrees, which makes it easier to do a regen. So that's the point of putting the pad fluid in separately. And I've just noticed there one of my other faults with the car, which I'm going to deal with. So that's basically what it is. So to do the point of this, you need to do a regen. But to do a regen, you need everything else on the car to be working. You need your mass airflow sensor working properly, measuring the right amount of air into the system. You need your map sensor working properly to know that you've got the right amount of charge pressure. You're basically your manifold pressure. But the main key is with these cars, is what people get confused about, is they say you shouldn't disconnect an EGR valve, because what you're going to do is, I know to delete an EGR, you do slightly increase the combustion temperature. But what you want is you do want the combustion temperature to be higher, so that everything runs slightly hotter to burn everything off. Maybe if you lived in Spain or somewhere like far flung abroad, you wouldn't want that. So with these, you do actually want to disconnect it, and it helps. But what you'll notice is as well, if you get somebody to help you, if you disconnect the pipe, if you keep it connected but have it so you can easily take it off, go and get somebody to the back of the car and put the hand on the end of the exhaust, on the end, not blocking it. When you pull this pipe off, you massively increase the airflow going for the exhaust, because what the EGR valve does, the exhaust gas recirculation, what you're doing is you're putting a percentage of the exhaust gas that's meant to go out the exhaust back into the engine, and it creates like a loop. So if you disconnect that, everything that comes out the exhaust goes straight out the back. Oh wait, mate. So that's what you're doing basically, is you're just lowering you increase the pressure. So obviously more pressure means more heat, and you reduce the chances of the EGR valve from blocking. So basically, get somebody to disconnect if you've got a Peugeot or any kind of engine with a vacuum controlled EGR valve, get somebody at the back to feel the exhaust pipe. The minute you pull that pipe off the EGR, you'll get an increase in pressure at the exhaust at the back. And that, just for going round the doors, means everything's going to heat up quicker. And it's hard to explain. If you've got a car with a faulty EGR valve, you get loads of black smoke coming out the back. The EGR what it does is it reduces the NOx by increasing decreasing the combustion temperatures, which reduces the NOx. In an ideal world, that's fine. On a 20-year-old engine with 160,000 mile, you don't want that. So just disconnect it, tie it up. These systems, I've took the direction of the flow of gases that go into the cylinders, and it creates what you call like the swirl effect. I can't 100% say what it does and doesn't do, but it's all to do with emissions. But I do find there's a lot of things like the EGR that I would say is that it is worth doing. If you do this, you will cause problems like with a little bit of throttle delay, turbo lag and stuff like this. But if you do disconnect the EGR valve, the only negative effect you'll probably find in the winter, it'll take slightly longer to warm up. But on the positive effects, you'll find that it's got much more better turbo response, as in like low revs, the turbo spool up quicker. You'll not get as much black rubbish coming out the exhaust like soot. If you've got a DPF like this one, you'll find that your regenerations are probably half, so it'll not hammer the DPF as much. And just generally, power, miles per gallon, everything. The only two negative effects is one, it'll take slightly longer to warm up, and two is, so they say, which I've yet to find an issue unless it's like crazy like performance, is it increases the combustion chambers, and they say that it can do engine damage. I'm yet to find one. Never mind an old 20-year-old Peugeot. People delete these EGR valves and remap them to like 300 brake horsepower on other engines. And so, I've done it to my brand new L200, so I'm certainly going to do it to something like this. So yeah, like I've said, everything's gone through as it should be for the MOT. Haven't got no problems. The only thing that I'm going to do, I don't know what's happened here, but something's gone on with the wipers. I did the wipers when the car's battery are being connected, so I don't know if something had gone wrong, but the wipers have dropped really low and it's catching the wing. So next week when I get to work, I'm just going to get the wipers to the park position, take them off the spindles, give them one cycle, and then put them back on, because something's obviously gone wrong here. But I must admit, I did the wipers at the spur of the moment when everything was disconnected and the car had been sat there for 3 weeks. So I need to look into them next week when I get 2 minutes. So yeah, I'll end the video here because I've got guests, but there we go, back on the road. 20-year-old car, safe from the scrap. There is somebody who's been messaging us from, I think, from Spain, so I'll get back to reply to you, because this car has been in Spain. I'll speak to its previous owner and find out. But what I am going to do in the meantime, this is good stuff, this, is add some Lucas Deep Clean, get that through it, and then just start simply adding the pad fluid as I go. So yeah, there we go. I know it's not a very overwhelming car, but it's great for what it is. So I'll get back to another channel, and I'll catch you soon. Like, subscribe and comment. Bye. I just thought I would add this final part of the video in. I am going to document doing some more work on the car. But it's nice to see that people are enjoying watching my channel, especially on the 406. I would just like to thank a gentleman. I did mention it before. I'm not going to give his full name, but he's called Duncan. I would like to thank him very much for sending me this. He's given me this free of charge. All I've had to do is obviously pay for the postage, which was reasonable. But I'm I appreciate all this, all original equipment, Kayaba stuff. The two front strut top mounts kits, so you get the bearings in the kits, as well as 2 original quality front springs. As we noticed, I think the front of the car is sitting a little bit low. And he's also sent us as well some chrome wheel caps, chrome wheel nut caps. So, you know, I appreciate people doing this kind of thing. I mean, I'm very, very much an amateur at this, and I really didn't expect to be getting this kind of feedback and things like this such early on on my channel. And I've got people messaging us from New Zealand, Australia, America. I'm sure somebody from Canada messaged us, Czech Republic, Russia, I believe, as well. All over Europe, Spain. So I'm amazed how far and wide people are watching and supporting my channel. So yeah, special thank you to Duncan. I'll probably document when I do them. I've just had all the hub and everything apart doing the bearing on it, so I'll probably wait until we're quieting down a bit at work and I've got a bit of time, because there can be a bit of a pain removing the struts on these, especially when they've been on for a while. But I am concerned about the front springs. They're perfectly fine, but I think they're just getting a little bit tired. Or if not, I think somebody's fitted some poor quality ones in the past, because it is sitting rather low at the front. So yep, thank you. Obviously I'll be adding this on to the end of the last video that I've done, so I'll not do all the spiel at the end of this, because I've already said it. This will just be added on. So thank you for watching. Bye.